There's big games, there's very big games, and there's absolutely humongous off-the-scale games. And that's what we've got, France v England in the World Cup quarter-final. I'm feeling it's a bit 50-50. Charlie, have you a similar feeling?
I think it's going to be a great game. Very, very tight, very, very tense. I think England are going to win. I can't remember the last time I've looked forward to a game quite like this. Even ahead of the Euro 2020 games, and it just feels a bit different, doesn't it, here? And I can't quite put my finger on it.
So on what
do you think?
basis do you think England are going to win?
Because I think they're going to win the midfield, and I think the last couple of days Gareth Southgate has just been drumming into them the importance of that. Win the midfield and you'll probably win the game. You've obviously got Kylian Mbappe to deal with, but I don't think the team are going to get too hung up on just that. Of course, it'd be stupid to do so. But I think they've got the quality. They're in a great moment, and if England are ever going to be a major nation away from home at a tournament, which they've never done before, now is the time. Now is the time for this team to really show us, the potential that they've got, which we've seen so far. And equally, the French are worried about England. And I know in the past we've sort of said that, but I think teams have always been quietly confident of beating this England team, and of course the French will think they could do it. Equally, they know that we've got some real weapons to hurt.
We've played 4 games so far. We haven't really faced an attack that would really make us tremble, have we? I mean, no. This is a different level, by exactly. A long way.
Same for France. I know they had Lewandowski in Poland, but it's a step up for France as well.
There's a one-man band there for Poland, though, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is a proper step up for France, and I think we've got to remember that. It's going to be a fascinating game, and we're looking at the starting 11, but of course I think the strength of our attackers off the bench will be key, it's a big moment for Gareth Southgate, big moment for the team. This is a defining game of this era of England players.
There's also the fact we feel that our fullbacks are better than their fullbacks. More experienced, they've got relatively inexperienced fullbacks, and we've got a lot of talent going forward, and we can get at them and get in behind, get those crosses in. Kane's off the mark, he's going to be looking for those balls into the box, which wasn't really happening in the first few games. Do you think it'll be a play them through the middle sort of game, or is it get a few ping a few wide balls out there, get your crosses in, which we're probably most effective at?
Yeah, and certainly that's where Kane is most effective, because we've obviously seen him playing some matches as a number 10, haven't we? I know Bellingham sort is as well, but he's been dropping too deep really to get the ball. But I think England will mix it up, but I think they will be more cautious than what we've seen, and rightly so. I think if England go for the jugular from the start, it'll be a mistake. So there'll be cat and mouse for the first 20-25 minutes, but equally they can't afford to be like they did in the first 20 minutes against Senegal, can they? Because they were a bit shaky, weren't they?
They were a little bit. Historically, Southgate has been known as a little bit of a cautious coach. You obviously will have to double up on Mbappe. I know you say it's not all about Mbappe, but you will probably have to double up on it, whether that means Henderson coming back and not getting perhaps forward into the box like he did the other day. Maybe it requires the centre-half to come out and help Kyle Walker. So that does leave spaces elsewhere if you're putting 2 players on him.
Absolutely, but we've seen in the past. I know it's different because it's not France, French games. But Mbappe's played against 8 English teams. He's lost 4 of them. I know one of them he was a kid at Monaco and they lost 4-1 to Tottenham. But particularly Kyle Walker has come out better. So it's not as though whenever Mbappe has played against an English team, he's always won. It's obviously totally different. But again, England have that strength and the quality, the confidence. They've been tight at the back generally. Harry Maguire and John Stones have played well. Pickford made some big saves, not always getting the credit he deserves, but he made a big save against Senegal, didn't he? And in this tournament, he's made 3 different saves that have gone out for goal kicks, which I think that's another issue. So. What's your prediction? How do you think it's going to go?
I think we're going to win it 1-0 in normal time. Lots of people think it could go to extra time, it could go to penalties, but I do think we've got a resilience that if we can get ahead, and Southgate talks about staying on the front foot, trying to push on for that second, which we haven't always done. But I'm not convinced we'll get that second. But I do feel we can win it by 1 goal to 0. I even think our goalkeeper's better than their goalkeeper, because I think Lloris has some very dodgy moments. They're obviously full of confidence. Deschamps knows what he's doing. They're the world champions, so they've got a lot of confidence from that point of view. But I thought initially we might suffer because of the fact we've in effect failed at the last two tournaments, that might be a negative feeling. But I'm actually getting the vibe in the England camp that has been a positive feeling, and that they're going to take it on and maybe win this tournament altogether. If you get past France, you probably win it. Do you? France are better than Brazil?
Yeah. I think if England beat France, they get to the final. My favourite quote from an England player this tournament and for a very long time came from Harry Maguire. I mean, you've covered England for a lot longer than me, but I don't remember an England player saying this. We've both been on our laptops, haven't we, over the years? And England, we can win it. We want to win it. Harry Maguire said, "We've got to win the World Cup. We've got to win it." That's a change in mentality. We've not seen or ever heard this before from an England team. We've got to win, not win this game. We've got to win the World Cup. That's how they feel. So you can't say people putting pressure on this team. They're putting pressure on themselves, and that's the key thing, being able to deal with that. And we see it in other individual sports where someone like Andy Murray never complained about the pressure, because he said, I put it on my I'm putting the pressure on me, and this England team are putting pressure on themselves to win the final.
We talked a little bit there about not getting hung up just on Mbappe. Jack Wilshere in The Sun talking about his mate Olivier Giroud, who's clearly a very popular teammate at Arsenal, and he reckons was underrated in England, and that he's probably got better since he left. I mean, I didn't think it was great for AC Milan against Chelsea, I'll be honest, but he has proved in this World Cup that he's still got it. Very fit bloke, still strong, holds the ball up well, so he offers a different type of challenge for the defenders to, say, Mbappe.
Yeah, he does, but equally, while he'll feel he can hurt England, he's not had a defensive pairing, I don't think, as good as Stones and Maguire in these group matches, and I think you have to take that into account. I think they'll be very, very confident they can do a job on Giroud. Obviously, they've got to be careful, and Mbappe and coming through midfield. But even the midfield, I don't think is as good as the England one. Particularly now they've got the blend right with Jordan Henderson coming back. Jude Bellingham obviously doesn't have as great defensive duties, and it's clicking.
Saka, Foden, obviously in good form, but even Grealish coming off the bench, he's not sulking, is he? He sees himself as the impact man who can maybe seal the game for us late on.
Yeah, and again, that's the key, isn't it? These players, it's like a club team. They're all in it together. We've not always seen that. Far from it.
We've been told it in the past, but
absolutely. But you can just tell, and all these pictures on social media and online. It's just genuine, isn't it? It's not fake. They enjoy being with each other, and ultimately they take responsibility for each other, which England teams in the past have not done. So I think they'll fight really hard, and I think it'll be again, I said it's a defining moment for this team and for the manager, and I think they'll win.
So let's say reasonably confident, and hopefully we'll be back here next Wednesday previewing a semi-final with England in it.